Hey there everyone, this is Aurelian, and we're playing Knights of the Old Republic 2. This is going to be a very talky part, so it is perhaps not necessarily a bad thing that I'm sick. So here we've got a medical bay console, which we can do some things with. The first things that we're going to do are watch the medical logs, I think. So strap in for that. These will slowly give us an idea of what's going on here.
Still examining the survivors of the damaged freighter. Looks like it goes by the name of the Ebon Hawk. Only one survivor, placed in the Colto tank for recovery. The carbon scoring on the vessel suggests it was in a battle, but no indication of who fired on it. Couldn't get much from the Nava computer. I'm surprised the ship was able to make it inside the Paragus asteroid field without the asteroid drift charts. Aside from the lone survivor, we recovered an old woman. No life signs. There was also a protocol droid and a utility droid on board. Sent both down to maintenance while security sorts through the other items on the ship. It looks like the utility droid, a T3 unit, was able to get the ship working enough to get to the colony. We're prepared to...
Yeah, no static sound effect for you there. Get used to that sort of thing in this game. Knights of the Old Republic 2 was made in 12 months. If you don't understand the business, you probably don't understand just how little time that is, but compare it to a similar release of the day, which had a 2 to 2.5 year development time, only about 4 to 6 months of which was actually working on an engine. KOTOR 2 had an engine to work with already, but they needed to make edits to the engine, and they had half as much time to develop the game itself as most games were given. So many things like that will just be conspicuously absent. Anyway.
Could be a Jedi, but we won't know for sure until we get the transmission back from the Republic. If the survivor is a Jedi, that would account for the recovery rate. But I'm more concerned that a Jedi here may cause trouble. Some of the miners, especially Corta, are already another accident today. A detonation in the ventilation tunnels. If the lockdown measures hadn't activated, the whole facility would have been destroyed. Got most of the injured to the Colto tanks in time, but the rest had to go to the morgue. One of the wounded said a droid caused the accident, but we couldn't get any specifics.
Well, that might explain why we haven't seen anyone yet. And also why there appears to be a significant amount of damage around the facility.
Miners about the Jedi. A number of the droids have been acting oddly, and not even memory wipes seem to be fixing the problem. There was a detonation in another one of the fuel vents the droids were working in. We deactivated several of them, and moved them down to maintenance. But we're still treating the plasma burns. That cuts us down to almost half shifts, and with the droids malfunctioning, we may not make the Telos shipment for this month. Fortunately, the detonation didn't cause a lockdown.
Warning. There has been a fuel detonation in the mining tunnels. Emergency lockdown commencing. All personnel report to quarters and prepare for emergency venting countermeasures.
No! If the ventilation systems are malfunctioning, evacuate the medical bay! Everyone evacuate!
Well, that's not good. Let's access the patient life signs. Everyone who looked dead is dead. And of course, we are patient number 3. Let's see what treatment was used. Last treatment request resulted in the death for all subjects except patient number 3. Was I being treated for severe plasma burns too? It would make sense. Because we have a treat injury skill of more than 0, we can check the last treatment request. A lethal dose of sedatives was administered to all of the tanks, including number 3, but there's no record of who ordered the treatment. Unfortunately, we don't have a computer spike, so we can't attempt to track the treatment request. I don't know if you can reduce that to 0 with your computer use skill, but in either case, we'll have computer spikes later, so there's no issues there. And finally, we can do some things with the actual medical bay functions. We can access the camera, which is just centered on our Colto tank. We can access the camera in the morgue. And we can see that the woman who was on the ship is in the morgue. which goes along with what they said. We'll unlock the door to the morgue. I didn't try to pick it, but you can't. We'll also unlock the storage room. Our present computer use skill allows us to do that for free. You can access the medical inventory, but that just explains how you can use the workbench to make stuff. And that is everything we can do with the medical computer for now, at least until we get some computer spikes. So loot these containers. The first one contains chemicals, which is great, and the second one includes med packs. Oh, something I didn't mention, but I promised to explain in the last part, is the use of the repair skill. You can break down items that you have, and you can do this to recover the same materials that are used to make that item. Including some items, like I think you can break down items that you can't craft as well. And if you break down an item, it gives you a number of materials based on what your repair skill is. If you get your repair skill, your total repair skill, to level 20, then you can break down an item for exactly as many parts as are required to build it, which can be unimaginably handy in cases where you won't find yourself using a lot of med packs or something. You can break them down to chemicals and then just turn them into med packs or whatever you need as you need them, which is very handy. Looks dead, but there's no sign of what killed her. We'll check the corpse. Oh look, a plasma torch. We can use that to open up the broken door. How convenient.
Find what you're looking for amongst the dead?
We'll acknowledge her voice.
Yes, I had hoped as much. I slept here too long and could not awaken. It may be I reached out unconsciously, and your mind must have been a willing one. Or perhaps you have been trained for such things.
You get the feeling she knows more than she's letting on. You looked dead when I came in.
Close to death. Yes, closer than I'd like. You have the smell of the Kolto tank about you. How do you feel?
Little drained.
I am Kreia, and I am your rescuer, as you are mine. Tell me, do you recall what happened?
This is something I like about this game and anything that Obsidian really does. Your character actually has a background, and they get to know things. And you get to choose whether you want to acknowledge that they know things. A lot of games, I think, like this would just give the player character amnesia or something stupid. But in this case, she has a pretty decent memory of what happened, even if you don't. So last thing I remember, I was on board a Republic ship, the Harbinger. What happened to it?
Your ship was attacked. You were the only survivor. A result of your Jedi training, no doubt.
I'm no longer a member of the Jedi Order.
Your stance, your walk tells me you are a Jedi. Your walk is heavy. You carry something that weighs you down.
We have a troubled history.
So it would seem. Keep your past and let us focus on the now.
What is this place?
I do not know. I was removed from the events of the world as I slept. A survey of the surroundings may provide the answers we seek. The ship we arrived in, the Ebon Hawk, must still be in this place. We should recover it and leave.
Fair enough. Why do we need to leave?
We were attacked once, and I fear our attackers will not give up the hunt so easily. Without transport, weapons, and information, they will find us easy prey indeed.
Are you sure there's nothing else you can tell me about that? Oh, wait, no. Let's go with you seem nervous, worried. Is something wrong?
Even as I slept, I felt much unrest here. I saw strange visions, minds colored with fear. Now, everything here feels terribly silent. A last word of caution. I would find out as much as you can about this place quickly. I fear we will need to depart as suddenly as we arrived.
We'll see. There's got to be someone left alive around here.
You may wish to extend your search to some clothes, if only for proper first impressions.
The patients in medbay were killed by a lethal dose of sedatives. Any idea how it happened?
I do not know. Why did they spare you?
They didn't. I got the same dose, but survived.
Indeed, a Jedi trance could protect one from such poisons. In fact, the sedatives may have been intended to keep you unconscious for some time. It would prove lethal to those untrained in such techniques, however. Most curious.
So someone was probably trying to kill me. And successfully killed everyone else. You seem to know a lot about Jedi techniques.
And so do you. Perhaps we could discuss it at length later on. Now we have other concerns, among them finding our new enemy.
I'll return soon to make sure you're all right.
I leave you to the explorations of this place. Here I will remain and attempt to center myself.
Yay. Yeah, this game has an alignment system, much like KOTOR 1. Basically, anything other than the extreme sides of either light or dark is kind of worthless to you. However, based on your class, once you do get to an extreme, you get a bonus from that. For us, as a Sentinel, I forget what it is. +3 Constitution, maybe? Unfortunately, it's not base Constitution, so I don't think that'll increase the type of implants we can wear, but it'll be handy for the hit points and the fortitude saves. For now, though, we can equip, a weapon, not a shield, and we can bash this door down with the plasma torch.
Emergency lockdown overridden.
And we'll just loot these corpses. Got a vibro cutter. Neural pacifier from the droid. The loot in this game is randomly generated, so the neural pacifier, for example, is different from what I got the last time. It can be a little frustrating.
Emergency lockdown is in effect.
Okay. Can't open that. We'll, yeah, we'll equip the vibro cutter for now because it does more damage and has a higher critical range. It's also balanced, so if you're into dual wielding, you could equip both of them and do reasonably well that way. And our first fight. It's identical to KOTOR 1, basically. And if you're unfamiliar with the D20 system, mining laser, I could equip that, but my dexterity is heinous. If you're unfamiliar with the D20 system, basically what happens is your opponent and you both have an armor class. In this game it's called defense, I think. You get a random die roll between 1 and 20. You add your attack bonus, which is this, to that number. And if it equals or exceeds, then you do between the numbers that are your possible damage. The vibro cutter does 1d10, which is 1 to 10 damage, and then it's increased by 2. The result is due to our strength. I'm not sure what else is driving it up by 1 point, though. Well, anyway, I'll just cut all that out because it's not really important yet. Oop, more fights. If you click on an enemy normally, you do normal attacks, and if you don't have anything queued up, then it will default to just continuing with your normal attacks. You can modify them with the various feats available, the Power Strike, Flurry, and Critical Strike. However, those reduce your attack bonus, which means you're less likely to actually hit things. It helps to be at a much higher level before you really start on that stuff.
This is the exit, but it seemed strange. In my visions, it was open.
Huh. Well, the emergency hatch hasn't opened, despite the fact that we appear to be in an emergency, and basically Kriya's in our mind. Which, you know, could be a good thing or a bad thing. Okay, we got a security tunneler. Those can be used to help with opening locked things. And here we got some more chemicals and some components, which can be used with used to create other things, basically. And finally, we've got the security desk, which we'll check out in the next part, I think. There are quite a few logs to watch, and I don't want this video to run too long. So I'll see you in the next part. Goodbye.